Hello friends, I want to talk about the forest ecosystem. What is the forest ecosystem and what are the characteristics of forest ecosystem and what are the types of ecosystem? I will talk in this presentation. Before starting this talk, I want to request you please subscribe my channel, this Silexic. Before starting forest ecosystem, let's have a talk on what is the ecosystem. Let's define what is the ecosystem. Here it is defined as an ecosystem is a geographic area in which all the living organisms interacting with each other and with the physical and chemical factors of environment, and it contains biotic and abiotic factors. Let's suppose have let's draw diagrams. I'm drawing this diagrams. Let's suppose it's a aquatic part, and this is the atmospheric part. And in atmospheric parts, many kind of we can say here it is rocks. Here it may be rocks or maybe some mineral that may contain minerals, and it also contains land which some animals, if I draw animal like this, uh, and it also contains birds, and it contains human. Then these organisms may also interacting with each other, even though the plant and forest. These organisms are interacting with each other, and other factors could be these both biotic and abiotic. These both are very necessary. So this is an geographical area of living organisms in which fish could be here. These organisms are interacting with physically and chemically. Physically, that substance present there, and chemically, that substance may also contain the chemical in the form of biotic and abiotic. That specific area is called ecosystem. So, what could be the forest ecosystem? Forest ecosystem is referred as, if I cross this sentence, forest referred as an area. Forest, it could be an area having a high density and number of forest. This is a specific area which contain a high number of forest and trees. That area is called as forest. A forest is an ecosystem in which living organisms such as human being, trees, insects, animals, they can interact with each other. So, first of all, you need to define what is the forest ecosystem. Forest ecosystem is the high density that contain the many number of the trees. In that area, human being interact with the trees. Trees can also interact with the insect, animals, and etc. This forest ecosystem is an ecosystem of forest and resources. This ecosystem is specifically interaction between the forest with the other organisms. In other organisms could be human being, could be animals, birds, insects, and etc. Forest are renewable natural resources. That's a very good point. Renewable natural resources could be a very good organic substances for the nature. How it they are blessing from the God, how they can fix the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere into their kind of body capture. They require carbon dioxide for the respiration, and they require they mostly up uptake carbon dioxide and other toxic chemicals from the environment. They are also very important natural resources. Except all these, whenever we cut the trees, these would these wood could be degraded into the various substances and add carbon into the soil rather than into the atmosphere. These are the renewables that can be reused. Forests are formed by a community of plants like trees. A forest is a specific area that contains trees, shrubs, herbs, climbers, and ground cover. All these kind of vegetation form the forest. Uh, a forest ecosystem may have a healthy soil, animal, insect, microorganisms, and birds are the most important interacting unit of the forest ecosystem. That's why soil is very healthy of that part. So, what could be the types of forest? Forest types mainly divided into three parts: tropical forest, temperate forest, and boreal forest ecosystem. Now, we can discuss the tropical forest ecosystem. Tropical forest are could be the home of many kind of animal and plant. These are very dense packed tree with tall, it contain very tall trees. Mostly tall trees and dense forest are consist of the tropical forest ecosystem. They are mostly existing in warm and humid belt area, uh, which are either side of the equator, which is the between South America, Central Africa, and part of India and Asia. Mostly, if we characterize the climate of the tropical forest, then it will be the climate will be the tropical. It have a high insolation, rainfall is greater. Monthly temperature is between the 26 to 27 degree. They are mostly hot and wet all the air. We can characterize it. It it could be the warm and humid. Next type of forest ecosystem is the temperate forest ecosystem. Temperate forests are present in the region where climate change a lot more summer to winter. They are mostly present in the area where climate change is mostly occurring, and they have consist of two kind of plantation, which is the evergreen and deciduous tree. Deciduous trees are mostly they shed their uh, leaves in off season. If we characterize these temperate forest ecosystem, then its climate temperature ranges from the hot in summer, which with the highest of 86 degree Fahrenheit, to extremely cold in winter with the lowest to minus 22 degree Fahrenheit. They are the most hot in the summer and most cold in the winter. And they have the abundant precipitation of annual rainfall is about 20 to 60 inches. Boreal forest ecosystem. Boreal forest ecosystem is also called as taiga, or it mostly covered the land masses of the earth, which is almost about 11%. These forests are located in the hemispheres. Boreal forests have a great lakes, beautiful northern rivers, vast bogs, farms, and organic wetland. They have lots of ferns. They have lots of lichens, algal growth, and many others. If we characterize the climate of the boreal forest ecosystem, the climate of the boreal forest ecosystem could be average temperature is estimated around the minus 30 to 30 Fahrenheit to minus 65 Fahrenheit. They are the mostly cold, and summer is very good. Average average rainfall is 16 to 39 inches. I'm talking about characteristics of the forest ecosystem. Before starting forest ecosystem, you may have to call about the forest ecosystem. What is the forest ecosystem and what is a ecosystem actually? So we would have a look on the ecosystem. Basically, what is the ecosystem? Let's define the ecosystem. Ecosystem basically is the geographical area that we can say the slide area in which multiple organisms are living, that we can suppose it human is existing there, animals, plants, microorganisms, and birds, insects, and many more. They are living together in a specific geographical area. They can interact with each other and with other physical and chemical factors that may have in that area. That could be in the form of soil, that could be in the form of minerals, that could be in the form of uh, chemical produced by plants, animals, and others, human factors or microorganisms factors. They can interact with each other. This whole area of interaction between the organisms with the physical and chemical factors, we can call it as ecosystem. So if we simply define it, it's an ecosystem of living organisms that interact with each other and with the physical and chemical factor. It also contains biotic and abiotic, both factors. What could be the forest ecosystem? Forest ecosystem mainly referred as a specific area that have high density and high number of trees. This is the forest system in which living organisms that human, trees, insect, animals, and etc. they are also existing there. So come to again the characteristics of the ecosystem. What could be the characteristics of the ecosystem of forest? We can Forest ecosystem could be divided into evergreen or deciduous in nature. Evergreen forests are mostly the forest that trees doesn't shed their leaves, and they keep their leaves and uh, shoots for whole of their lives, while deciduous trees are mostly shed their leaves during the autumn seasons or their off seasons. So here is the forest ecosystem can be deciduous and evergreen in nature. So it can be mature if both deciduous and evergreen trees exist. If forest contain most deciduous and most of the evergreen trees there, then it could be the mature of that forest. Seasonal variation, what could be the seasonal variation? Forest ecosystem of a specific region, it's depend on the seasonal variation. What kind of seasonal variation? Which could be in the form of temperature of the forest having four seasonal variation, but tropical forests have abundant rainfall of all the type. We can mostly divided the forest ecosystem into tropical, into the boreal, into the deciduous and evergreen trees. That characteristics among the characteristics of the forest ecosystem, attraction of insect is very important. Forest ecosystem is a huge habitat for various kind of insect and other organisms. even though birds attack on the forest forest attract the birds for their living purpose. The forest ecosystem provides most favorable conditions for various species of the bird. Canopy layer structure. The canopy layer is one of the most distinguished characteristics of the forest ecosystem. Here you can see this diagram of that you can say you can see the forest canopy layer structure. The dense canopy layer acts as a barrier against wind, rain, snow, and etc. to protect various species. So we need most of the time a dense forest ecosystem. So if we can see these diagrams, this showing that forest floor contains some plants. If you can understory these plants could be here. The canopy plants could layer could be here. The emergent layer could be here. What the benefit of forest ecosystem could be? Forest ecosystem provides soil fertility. The soil of the forest ecosystem have a very good fertile and you can say good condition soil in terms of fertility. For examples, soil of the temperature and tropical deciduous forest is very fertile, enriched with nutrients. They are very fertile, enriched with nutrients. Why? Why? You can ask this question. Why? Yeah, it's very important to tell you that when our trees shed their leaves, it fallen on the soil of that specific part. That tree leaves will be decomposed by microorganisms and worms, earthworms, and many others animals are there. They are also working in the soils and getting energy from that. And in return, they are producing very fertile soil. On other hand, the soil boreal forest is mostly acidic and falling of conifers needs. And here they are reporting that coral breast soil is acidic. Why it's acidic? Because they contain conifers. Conifers leaves have an acidic nature, so that's why they produce acidic soils. Hello, friend. Before talking this topic, I would like to request you please subscribe my channel and keep you updated with my upcoming videos. I am discussing conservation of the forest ecosystem, how you can conserve forest ecosystem, why it is important. Forest ecosystem conservation, it's a practice, it's a planning of plantation and maintaining the forest area for the benefit of the future generation. How it is possible? You need to do this, you need to perform this forest conservation strategy on a sustainable basis, on a long term basis, and in a passive mode, not in active mode. Passive mode, why it is important? It is important because you need to produce a forest that will provide a shelter to the many of the organisms and supports the biodiversity in a sustainable manner. Forest conservations, what could be involved in it? Forest conservation involves the upkeep of the natural resources. Uh, it maintains the natural resources within the forest that are beneficial for both human and environment. Forest they are very vital for human life because they provide a diverse range of resources. If we talk why it is important to be conserved forest ecosystem, why it is important to be conserved, then we can say they store carbon from the air. They mostly capture, they require carbon for their respiration and they act as carbon sink mostly. They are the carbon sucker. They take carbon which is a toxic for human and produce oxygen which is a very beneficial for the oxygen for the respiration in human. It reduces the global warming when plants respire carbon, they uptake more carbon and reduce the emission of carbon in the air. They definitely reduce the global warming because carbon has a warming effect on the atmosphere. It maintain climate and rainfall. It maintain climate, weather conditions, and many more environmental factors on a sustainable basis. It definitely it purify water, provide habitat to the wildlife. It's the biggest need of the nature. It provides timber product which could be in the form of paper furniture. It provides non-timber product in the form of herbal medicines and it prevents soil erosion. So their roots. Before moving this, all these, if they are preventing the soil erosion, they are also preventing the floods, they are also preserving the soil fertility and many more. These benefits could be unlimited. What are the ways to conserve the forest? Forest can be conserved through the controlled deforestation. We are moving toward the deforestation due to the urbanization. Many of the peoples are cutting trees and making the societies for their houses. That is also due to the industrialization. So we need to plan about the controlled deforestation. We need to execute more and more forest in new areas that may called as afforestation. If we are performing deforestation, then we also need to give the alternate of deforestation, which could be the afforestation. We need to control over forest fires. That's very important. Most of the forest fires in Australia, America, and Amazon forest, they are facing with the problem of forest fires. We need to control this. That forest fires could be due to the human error or some kind of environmental factors. Better farming practice could also increase the forest efficiency. It could promote the afforestation, more and more plantation. Proper utilization of forest product also conserve the forest. So friend, I request you again, please subscribe my channel and wait and watch more videos. Uh, Tell them now. Bye bye.